Hey guys, it's Jen from ScanNCut Canvas and Scal Help on Facebook. Looky what I'm gonna do, or try to do. I got this template out of a magazine. The magazine is a UK magazine, but I was strolling through Wally World and I came across it and thought, man, I want to try it. There's a free little kit that came in it. Now I just lost the dadgum page. But the template came and the actual little package of felt came with it too. So we're going to be trying this on the DX. I know that my CM will handle this absolutely no problem. But I want to do some scans and then we're going to do some fabric cool stuff. So here sets the actual tear out. I just tore the page out. Okay, I haven't done anything special. It is placed on my zig tack mat. Okay, and because it is a magazine page, it's probably going to give me a little bit of a fit coming off my zig tack mat because this is a pretty much brand new tack mat. It's actually the one that I have been using, but it is a heavier tack mat. It's just when I put it on, I was a little heavy-handed. And that's okay. So, let me get this camera positioned. Good Lord, this thing. Took a big spider in my room. Now, this is a mat that will not load, or it hasn't, so I'll show you. I'll just sit here and see if it'll load. So it's pushed up against there. Okay, you see it does not load. So let's, and what I'm doing is I'm firmly putting pressure on both sides, directly in and kind of over towards the right, because I need it to load. I'm not too happy with that load. It'll say it's okay, but to me it's not okay, because I could see a little bit of daylight between that area right there. But with Brothers update that they just released, nope, it allows it to load a little slower. And I need to quit talking and just focus on what I'm doing here. But it loads, actually I usually get it every time I do this, but figures when I'm flapping my jaws. There we go. Okay, good. So now we're going to scan. Woo, woo! So you see what it is. Let's come up here. Got to tighten up my little doohickey majobber here. Hopefully my camera doesn't fall down and I don't fall down and die. This camera's like hanging in midair. Okay, scan. Now what scan would I want to use? I would want to use ScanNCut data. Okay, right now it's on RGB, red, green, blue. So let's just hit start and let's see what it picks up. And, oops, that's right, I forgot about my little lever there. And actually, I forgot to pull out my little thing. There we go. Now, okay, I have my actual media set in from my sides, okay? Because anytime you scan, and if you've watched any of my other scanning videos, you will know if you butt that right up to the side, the scanner does not like to pick up anything that is close to that side. Okay, so let's come in here. Frame the image. I'm trying to do that on my camera too. Good golly, Miss Molly. See, look at the thing. It bounces all over. Can't make up its own mind. Frame the image. Okay, let's frame it. Also, if you get your frame a little too close, it can also cut off your image too. So you don't ever want to do that. You can get rid of errant marks by using the ignore object size. And I really wish Brother would get rid of these huge, gigantic arrows. They do nothing for us, but look, it blocks what I need to see. Alright, so we're going to let it recognize. And when it comes up, I should get at minimum 2 choices, but normally it'll give me 3. Dadgum thing, stay there. Okay, oh, see, it did. It only gave me 2. Okay? That is not a good thing, alright? So I'm actually going to come out of here because I don't want that. So let's switch this to black. Because what that does, and I will talk to you about it when we get back into that screen, is it gave me 2 choices that I may or may not have wanted for this option here. Because I want to actually be able to talk to you about all 3. And it may only give, okay, good. Okay. This one gives me the ability to select just the outside. Okay. This one gives me the ability to select inside and outside of the line, not including the line. Okay, so it'll cut inside and outside that line, preserving the line. So what I teach people in class is, think of this as the handwriting one. If you're trying to capture something such as handwriting and you want to preserve that line but you need to cut it out, that's the one you go for. So if I wanted to cut out this entire file and I wanted to preserve the line, but I needed it cut out, but I can't cut on that line, that is the one that I would choose. Okay, so think about your grandmother's handwriting. You want to preserve it, but you need it cut out. That's it right there. So it'll follow the line on the inside and the outside. This one will cut on that line on every single line it sees. Inside, outside, underside, top side, back side, whatever black line it picks up, it will cut. Okay, so that might not be good. All right, what one would I want to pick for this? Would I want that one? The one that's the line, inside, outside, top to bottom, back and forth? Maybe. No, I don't want it to cut that and that. Okay. How about the inside and the outside line? Well, heck no. I just need to be able to cut the pattern out of my material. Okay. So what I need is that right there. I just need to be able to capture the outside of the images. Okay, so let's push that one and let's see what's actually captured. Okay, good. So now let's get to cropping. Let's take that out. I really wish I didn't have to deal with these big bubble arrows. Okay, you see I got too close there and those grayed out. Okay. If you get too close and they gray out, back it off a little bit. Oops, I need to back the top down. Or back the top up a little bit. Okay. And I still see some stuff in here. Let's try to get rid of this. and some stuff at the top. How do I get rid of that? Ignore object size. Okay, so you see, hopefully, yes, good, you can see it. See how dark black that is? And there's some dark black in here too. Let me try to get you right down on that crap. Let's try to bring you down. I know it's real blurry right now, but just hang on. Okay. I apologize. This camera has a mind of its own. Okay. So right now, there are black pieces right there. Let's start. Oh, do you see that? It's black. I'm going to increase the size to 0.16. They turned gray. See that? Watch this area right here. Black. Now they're gray because they're being ignored. You want all of those black pieces to turn gray, but you don't want your file to turn gray. Okay? Okay, good. So that's gone. Okay. So we're going up. Oh, we're getting close. I'm worried about that little guy. So what I can do is I can come over right here to your unlock aspect ratio, and I'm going to tick that because I have this line down here that's really bugging the tar out of me because it's long. But if I keep the aspect ratio ticked and I go up to like 3 inches, that guy's going to be gone. So is that. Probably most of this other stuff's going to be gone too, right? Okay, so I cannot have 3 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to untick aspect ratio and go for the width. Until, okay, so I lost that first part. Now I got to get this down here. But I still have to keep these. So, oh, good. So all that down there is gone. All that's gone. All that other stuff is gone. But I still have my file. So let's click OK. Perfect. OK. Processing. Now to save it, I can save it wirelessly to my USB or to my machine. I'm going to click my machine because I'm going to be here cutting out my pieces of fabric. Okay. Save to number 11. Alright, so I'm going to pop it back to home screen. Now, retrieve data from my machine. Number 11. There it all is without any excess junk around it. And I've got the head, the body, the shirt back, the party hat, the bow tie, the shirt front, the ear, and the arm. Okay. Alright, that little arm piece has a little stitch line in it, so that's okay. Now what I have to do is I have to figure out what goes where and what gets cut. Let's see, edit, good. I can go in and delete those as needed. Okay, real quick. I wanted to address like paper sticking, so I went ahead and I actually took a scraper and a brayer and braid this down so bad to my mat to get it to stick. And what I did is I just went in and I grabbed a washcloth with warm water, okay, and I brought it in and I just kind of squeezed it out on my mat, okay, and I'm letting it sit here. Okay, I haven't put anything else on my mat, just a washcloth. Okay, so just a regular old washcloth you use on your face. And yes, there is an R in my wash. That's a washcloth. Because I want to just let people know you can just take warm water, not hot. Hot water tends to make that adhesive kind of let loose from your mat. Okay, and it can break it down, okay, cause it to release. Okay, here we go. I'm just using, and it really is this easy to do. You can see how well I stuck it down. There is the impression of what was on the other side of the, here's what, see right there, it was on the other side, so it is coming off here. There. That's all you do. It's literally how easy it is to get stuff that is stuck. Don't freak out. Don't get upset. Don't get mad. Just go in, grab some hot water, or not hot, some warm water. You can probably even do it with cold. That's fine. Bring it over, squeeze it on there, or take it to your sink, whatever you want to do. And just let it sit on there for a minute. Then wipe off your mat. That's all you need to do. Okay, yeah, you may have these stain on here for a little while until you choose to strip your mat and redo your zig. Okay, it's not a big deal. That's not going to affect the adhesion. Okay, oops, got paper junk flying. All right, so that's just a real quick how to get gunky stuff off of there. If you don't have any chemicals or you don't want to use chemicals, really easy to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and gently swirl this to make sure I've gotten all of it off, which I have. There is absolutely nothing left on there. I'm not applying any pressure whatsoever. Okay, now I'm done, and I'm just going to wait for it to dry. You can also take a paper towel and go across it. Okay. And understand, this is a freshly zigged mat. So, I'm going to clean up my workspace. There. Now I'm going to let the air dry the rest of it, and we're going to rock and roll. Alright, we're ready to rock and roll. It's still good and tacky. Okay? So don't ever worry or panic and think you've ruined anything. Alright, let's get with the program. Alright, so now I need to read, this is not a favorite thing of mine to do, the instructions to see where I need to place my fabric in order to get it to cut, okay? In order, or should I say, where I need to place the files according to the fabric, and then how many pieces of each I need to cut, okay? So, let's get doing that. Okay. Now, let's get to separating. So here's a head and a body. Here's a shirt and a shirt. Here's a hat and a body piece and another body piece and just a something or other. I think it's his bow tie or something. Okay, so this gets one piece, that's fine. This gets one piece, and what I'm doing is I am strategically placing these in these 6 by 6, so to speak, squares. Okay, these aren't, because these are the body pieces and they need to be doubled or quadrupled. Okay, so I've just kind of thrown them in the general area. Alright, this one, so this is single, single, I know that one's single. This one is doubled, so we're going to come in here to Object Edit, okay. Alright. No. Let's see if that'll work. How big is this piece? It is 4.5. Nope. There's only one piece of that. Oh, how in the heck are you supposed to do that? That don't make no sense. Is that 2 pieces? No. So how in the heck are you supposed to get all that out of this little teeny piece? I have no idea. We'll worry about that later. Okay, so then I have 2 pieces of this beigey looking stuff to get the body parts out of. I mean, if it all goes into a handbasket, I got some stuff here that I'll finish it with, but daggone. Okay, so we need another one of them. So we got you 2 of these. Okay, and I need, oops, 1, 2, okay, so that's right. This one, need another one. That one, I need another one. Okay. Alright. I have a feeling we're going to have to creatively stuff these things places. Probably where they shouldn't be. Alright, I'm going to go ahead, and you've seen me pretty much use all of the stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to fit these together. Holy cow smacks, you really have to know like geometry and trigonometry and that to get these patterns to fit. So I did all that, and then I put the material down, but it is going to be so close it's not even funny. We're going to do a background scan though and see how we do here. Alright, oops, is it focused? There we go. Okay, so I'm snugging it up all the way over against this. I'm going to hit the load button. Nope, 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 no you don't, no you don't. It's kind of hard to load it with this stuff on board. There we go. Okay, so now up here on this screen I'm gonna hit this start. This thing, and it's level 2. Here we go. Let's get you up here. This thing. Woo! No. So I got to go in and fix this one and try to figure out something better to do with that, and double check all of these and reposition them. Okay, I see this one needs to be drug over a little bit. Oh, that's just horrible. Okay, so I'm going to go and reposition everything. This is the 4th time I'm trying to record this. I don't know what's happening, but anyways, as you can see, I got the file placed. I so apologize. But because of how close the file sits to the edge of each piece of this fabric, I could not put the fabric in the freezer paper and then apply the freezer paper, do the background scan, etc. I had to actually see my fabric in its true form sitting on the mat, okay? So that's why the freezer paper is not applied yet. I needed that background scan so that I could see exactly where it's at. You see, there is no room whatsoever for anything. I mean, there is no fabric left when I'm done cutting this, okay? So that's why I placed the fabric just like this down first, then I scanned it in, placed the file, then I removed the fabric. And as you see with the zig mat, you can easily remove the fabric. Doesn't do anything to it, okay? But I'm going to go create the freezer paper sandwiches now, And then we will be back, okay, because I know how to place each of those panels. What I did is I placed each one directly in the corners, okay, of each of my 6 by 6 squares. Alright, so that I know that the files that I have drug there are correctly placed. Alright, guys? Alrighty, so here we have our freezer paper. I think this is still left from when I taught classes. Oh, good lord! It means it's old and ancient, just like me. But we'll pull a couple of these pieces out here. Yep, this is still left over from class. I need a different camera thing. This thing's stuffed in my face. Okay. So these are just pieces I've had ripped off for a couple of years. Now all you do is, let me turn the light on in here. Dogs, move. The shiny side. See, the shiny, it's called plastic. They call plastic coated. It's wet, whatever it is. You want that side to face the fabric. Okay? So we can probably sneak in a couple pieces. But what you want to do is you want to leave, with regular fabric, you want to leave an edge around that's going to seal itself against each other. However, with this type of fabric, you can put it right up to the edge. You don't have to worry about that, okay? And I'm actually going to cut this because it's really irritating the tar out of me, rolling over on itself. Actually, let me just set this here for now. So, we can put this here. Okay, so you don't have to have the sealing edges. That is not needed. The only thing you need to have is room enough to cut it apart. Alright. Trying to position it so I'm not wasting a whole bunch of it. We'll scrap that. Let's just put this up here then. Bless you, dogs. Remember, I don't have like any scrap left in any of these pieces, so I literally have to use every part of it. So each piece has to have the coating. Okay, well, I think my idea of having a little waste is too bad so sad, Jen. Okay, here we go. Alright, that looks good. So, as long as this covers it on the way back, we're good. So I'm just going to crease this, move this up, make sure each little piece is setting down and in nicely. I'm anal Annie when it comes to this stuff, because I know that in order for my ScanNCut to cut correctly, it must be sealed correctly. And I just got a new iron. God love my son, he thought I needed a new iron. He didn't know I had just bought myself another clearance model, $5 version at Walmart, so he bought me this one. I didn't tell him. Okay, I got this thing fired up. Managed to blow a fuse. For some reason it's got steam coming out of it and I don't know why. It's never had fluid put in it. I never use steam in any of my irons. This is the first time I've used this one too. But no steam. Work in one direction, so my direction is this way and over, because you want to work out the air bubbles in normal fabric applications. Since this is like the felt, or since this is the felt, this stuff tends to stick and doesn't have air bubbles no matter what you do, okay? All right. And I will do the front and the back side. I don't know what is going on with this thing. It'll heat up and then it goes off. I'm not sure I like this thing. Probably not using it right. I'm not one to read instructions. Ever. So remember, when you're using freezer paper on regular fabric, start one side and go in one direction slowly. But since this is felt, you pretty much just want to tack this into the felt and it holds. You want to remove all of these air bubbles. That's what you need to get rid of, because as soon as that ScanNCut blade hits that air bubble, it's going to want to grab that fabric and lift it up and pull it away from the freezer paper, which acts as a stabilizer. Okay? And then when it does that, it creates a wrinkle, it pulls it up, and it will not cut. The only things that I use to stabilize fabric and everything that I do is freezer paper or Heat and Bond Light is my fusible. Okay, I don't really use anything else. One time I've used Terrio Magic, with the exception of the classes that I've taught, and that was for a really silky Moda type fabric, and that was because I didn't have time to make my grandma's starch recipe. Okay. My grandma's starch recipe is in the files section of this page, but it's just a homemade starch recipe. Okay, so that's good. Nice and cracker crisp. Okay, so I'll cut that one apart. And I'll grab another sheet. Slap this one down. And this one down. And remember, because these are felt, this is a slightly different than the regular fabric preparations of freezer paper. You can do a holding press. Also, dogs, if you have a heat press, oh, and you want to use that, man, you put this in there for 6 seconds, that thing comes out like a plywood board, man. It's awesome. So people ask me, can I use a heat press? Oh, by all means, definitely do. That comes out so much better. We used it in class down in, I think it was Austin. Oh my gosh. It was awesome. You don't have air bubbles, you don't have creases, you don't have anything but little pieces of freezer paper that you could just about build a house with. They really are that stiff. And see, I'm going back and forth like this. This is something you do not want to do. Not want to do with, say, cotton fabric and your freezer paper. And why? Because you'd be taking air bubbles and stuffing them in both sides, okay? If this was regular cotton, I would start here, and at about this speed, I would hold and go across. And right now, I have my iron set on the hottest temperature, because what I'm doing is I am melting that plastic coating into the fabric. Okay, that's what's allowing this paper to stick to it. Okay, look at that. Nice and stiff. Look at, I can hold that straight as a board. Okay, that's what you want. You want it stiff as a board. Be it felt, freezer, or felt, cotton, whatever you're using. You want it that stiff. If it is not that stiff and you hold it up and it's got wrinkles like that in it, stop and do it over. Do both sides too, okay? Alright, now I'm going to shut up and cut this. Okay, to cut this, I'm going to carefully cut right along my edges. Okay, because I know that when I put it on my ScanNCut, I'm going to butt those edges up right against my borders of my mat. And I also know that my file butts up right against the edges of my material. And I'm not worrying about cutting close and letting air get in here because this is felt. And the felt holds on, all these little pieces, to the plastic coating that melted into it. Okay? If this was cotton and I was cutting this, you would see the air suck right back into there. Okay? You can use a rotary cutter, which I think I'm actually going to turn this off and do so that I get straight line. I'm one, I can't talk and cut in a straight line. Okay, and when you're cutting things like this, always put your ruler to the outside or your straight edge, whatever you're doing, because if you're trying to do it like this, you have really no idea where that fabric has went. Okay, so straight edge to the outside. Then cut. Oops. Alright. Straight edge to the outside, then cut. No, Jaeger, you cannot help. Are you trying to help? Are you trying to help? That's the bad one. The one that's always in jail. And he's fixing on heading there already again today. Okay. I mean, sure, yes, I could have hand cut all those pieces out, but like I said, I'm the type I cannot cut. Hand cut to save my life. Plus, for some reason to me, it's not fun to hand cut anything anymore. It just isn't. It's like I posted on Stamp Junkies. It's like a triathlon. I just do not like it. I don't want to. No. Now with this one, I think I'm going to line this one up with the, I don't know. Let me see how much. Okay, so if I line this, I just looked at it in the daylight. I'm going to line it up with the, go ahead because I can actually see this turquoise one, or mint, whatever color it is. I don't know, it's mint, turquoise, pretty color blue. I could see that a little bit more clearly. But ever since owning the ScanNCut, like people talk about fussy cutting, Jaeger, please get out of the sewing stuff. Jaeger. Okay, but fussy cutting is just not something I like doing anymore. Some people say it's relaxing. Well, I guess it's kind of like weeding for me. I don't like doing that either. Anything that requires me to sit in one spot for longer than 10 seconds is too much. And sure, you can make your sandwiches up one at a time so you don't have to do things like this. And I'm actually going to show you all how to make your own light box, which would help with tracing and things like this if you make it out of a backing that you can actually cut on. But that's something I want to do. So yeah. Alright, so these are all okay, good, and fine. I'm going to toss all my paper in the trash and get ready to load this on the mat. Alright, so I brought the old pattern up. Now, I need to make sure that these are stuffed into the corners, okay, and to the outside edges as far as possible, okay, because that is where I have placed all of my media. Alright, so how do I do that? Well, these I can drag all by themselves, okay? But these may be, oh, yeah, those are all separate. So how do I do that on here? Well, I'm going to come into the edit and then the 3 squares. I can do this, which highlights them all individually. I don't want that. I want this one where I can drag and select. Okay, now that has selected that entire group. I can come over here. Oops. Okay, now I can do this one, which is the object edit. Now I can drag them and stuff them as far over to that corner as I can get them. Okay. Can come in here. Make sure you untick that one. Okay, because you really don't need to worry about that one anymore. Come into Object Edit, click your group. Now I need to drag this one way down. Okay. Now I need to go grab that one. Oops, what am I doing? I need to come up here and over here and click OK. And when this highlights in red, now I can untick that one. Okay. Come into Edit and click Group. Okay, now I can drag him up there. Alright, so now everything is stuffed as far over and into the corner as possible. Okay, so now that I'm out here in this screen, I'm going to bring my mat over here, the one that will not load. None of my mats load. Okay, so I'm going to pop this out. For those of you that are not sure how to load the unloadable mats, hang on, let me stuff my machine up here. Hit your mat load and then gently apply pressure inward. I'm not liking that one at all. It's kind of crooked, so I'm going to eject it. That felt better. Yep. You're kind of pushing in, but making sure that that pressure is also over so that you're lining up along this ridge right here. Okay, so this little plastic kind of piece that sticks up right here, you want this edge to ride right along that. So you're kind of forcing that mat against that as you're pushing forward. Okay, so make sure that they grab. Both wheels grab, and they want to grab this side first and then this side, so you're kind of hanging on for dear life. Then when they both start to go, then just let it go. Okay, and I noticed in version, what is it, 1.11, whatever was released in February of 2019, these now roll really, really slow to allow us to do that. Okay, alright, but now that's in there, I want to do a background scan. You guys better just settle down. Acting all crazy. Okay, so now that that's popping up there, let's bring in here this thing. Let's get just focused. Okay. Now I can see okay, this is the darkest that it is available. Alright, so I still see kind of some sticking out there. Now do you see why I said you with the freezer paper you have a hard time seeing where it's at? Okay, easy fix for that. Let me grab, oh, where did it go? I'm going to have to pause the video and find it. Okay, found it. Okay, so I just take a piece of paper to protect my mat, and then I will take a black marker, pen, whatever, and go right along the edge of my freezer paper. Doesn't have to be anything beautiful. Just make sure that your protecting paper lays right along that. Okay? I'm not going to go all the way because that exposed my fabric, and I'm not drawing on the fabric. You don't have to go the full length if you don't want to, but I am, just so that I can ensure that my pattern is going to be captured correctly. This one I'm not worried about because it's actually sitting on the black line and not part of my actual mat that has anything to do with cutting or scanning. Whoops. Ah. Okay, so now I have, ooh, I forgot one. Oh, I'm going to just do this by hand because my freezer paper is actually thick enough. Okay, alright. So I'm going to start my background scan again. So yes, this is actually designed to give you further tips on what to do if something isn't working. Lucky there. It worked. So now, let's come in after I put all my junk back. And let's move, if we need to, our little images. Now, for some reason, this looks like this is actually going to be off, and there is no part of the mat showing between my fabric and that. There's no part showing here either, so this is a little bit off. What you see on the screen here is way off, because you see it looks like there's parts showing, and there's absolutely nothing showing here or on any parts of this. Okay, so it's a wee bit different. Looks like I have things showing between my media and my mat edge, and I actually do not. So it's a little, this damn thing, it's a little deceiving. Okay, so I'm going to move this. Okay, that looked okay. Oh, it looks okay. Move that up a bit. Move that down a bit. Move that down a bit. Okay. Please select, cut. And we're going with the black blade. Oh, why not the fabric blade? Well, because it's for the thin fabric. We don't have thin fabric, we've got thick. Okay. Pressure is at a -6 because I do not want anything carved out of my mat. And we all know that Brothers Auto Pressure likes to carve deeply into our mats. And we don't want that. Okay, oops, sorry. We don't want that. Alright, so let's come back in here. Take a look. The speed is a 1, of course. I love that slow speed. It gives the machine time to react. Okay, and time to cut. Okay, so let's hit start. and see how it goes. I'm going to put my finger on the pause just in case anything untoward happens. Boy, their straightaways like to take off zooming. Oh my goodness, look at what happened. We have a hot mess here. I think this one was just too close for comfort. Look at that. Oh, good Lord. Thank God that's just a dadgum square or rectangle. This is why you always leave extra space on stuff when you make your designs and you cut out your fabric or plan for your fabric. Always leave extra space. Never put it right up to the edge. This wasn't my choice though. This came from a little pattern book, free pattern, and free little kit that came in it. So I thought I'd give it a try on here. There's literally no waste. So let's fix this bad boy right now. We're going to go ahead and fix it as I'm watching my cutter cut. Hope it doesn't screw up anything else. But this is case in point. When I tell people in class, always give yourself extra room. Precisely why, right here. Everybody's so worried about waste. Oh, you're wasting, it's wasting, it's wasting. No, wasting is if you try to cut it and it boogers it up. So there we go. That piece is just fine now. Waste is if you know, made a whole mess of that thing because you cut the daggum thing too small to begin with. And it caught the edge and ripped it up. So you'd have had to throw the whole piece away. So this is probably going to be at least a 2-pass cut. But we shall see. Oh, I don't like how close it gets to the edges. It makes me so nervous. Now I can tell you if this was being cut out of cotton material, pretty much all of these probably would have caught, drug, and been totally messed up. But since this was felt with freezer paper, I felt comfortable to try it on the ScanNCut even though they sit so close to the edge. So far so good with all of the other ones except for that little small rectangle one. But you can see, I mean, it gets dicey. No, I did not whistle for you guys. Just lay back down. For Pete's sake. And again, I have a zigged mat. That's the adhesive I use. I do not use the Brother High-Tack support sheets. Those just create so many problems. Ooh. Okay, so now we got business up here, and this one was really close. I gotta get my finger on the pause sign. I think it was that higher speed through the straightaways that that rectangle got a little crazy. And that's why it ripped up. Okay, this thing is crunched right here. Alright, got it laying back down, but I am not liking what it's doing because I think it is slid off of the edge. Yep. I'm going to do a quick cutting, okay, because I need to remove this file. See how easy that paper went away? Okay, so what I did, because I have removed this piece, I need to come up here and remove it from the file. Okay, if not, that's going to come in and it's going to cut, and it's going to cut my mat, and I do not want that, okay? So I'm going to just come back here. I'm going to click on that, edit, delete it. Okay. 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 Please select, cut, start. And we're going to let it go from here, and we're going to let it continue to cut. Alright, so here's this. Now, I did okay with the rest of them, but what I find is on these straight edges, it has problems because it speeds up. Now, it had a problem down here just because it ran off the edge. Ran off the edge and caught right here when it tried to come back up. So this one and this one got a little messy. Okay, now generally, your freezer paper should just peel off, okay? Now we're going to just try a couple of these to see. But yeah, generally your freezer paper will just peel and stick to you with all the... Okay. If it doesn't and it's like really stuck well, okay, because like you superheated it or you heat pressed it, gently reheat it, okay, and as it's super hot, use tweezers, okay? So grab your little pokey tools. Okay, where'd mine go? Mine should be here. Okay. So after you've had it in that heat, okay, grab your tweezers. Now make sure that you're not grabbing any part of the inside, and then pull them apart. It will separate really, really easy. Okay. After you reheat it. Or you can try using a heat gun if you don't want to put it back in like the whole heat press, because that, man, that gets uber hot, okay? But generally, it should separate pretty easy for you. So just go through and start separating them to get them ready to do with whatever you need to. But you don't want a lot of stringing and a lot of fluffing. If that starts to happen, stop, okay? Alright, okay. Okay, so now the little fella's going to get assembled, and it'll look probably something like that, or I hope. Okay, so in the kit they did include, and I don't know if I showed you this, I can't remember, but they did include everything. This little thing, and even a needle. So I will start stitching on this and, oh sorry, post a picture at the end of this video, okay? But my suggestion to you is if you get a kit and you don't want to hand cut it, replace the fabric that they gave you. If it is close and you want to cut it on your ScanNCut, do not try to use the small amount of fabric that they have given you, especially if it lies really close to the edge like I showed you in this video. Alright, if they have given you a great excessive amount, that's awesome, then go ahead and use it. But if your fabric edges lie so close, okay, to the edge of the if your pattern, if the pattern that they gave you lies so close to the edge, don't risk it, all right? Just replace it, save the little pieces for something else, or save it for a day that you may want to hand cut it, all right? That's my little tip for you. If you guys have any questions, you can find me over at ScanNCut Canvas and Scal Help on Facebook. Remember, the actual completed one of these will be at the end of this video, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.